My Cane Corsos got in a vicious fight, and the reason why is because leadership fell apart. Yeah, dude, leadership fell apart. Let's get into exactly what happened, why my two Cane Corsos got into a fight, signs to recognize a fight before it happens, and how to stop a dog fight. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Jason Corey here, alongside of Bruce Wayne and Joey Justice down here. And I felt like this could be an amazing learning lesson for every dog owner out there. Leadership falling apart was the beginning stages of my two Cane Corsos getting into a fight. And I've always stated in this channel that a Cane Corso is not for everyone. They take very strong leadership. And in my own humble opinion, I just feel like most people aren't even fit to have a dog. I had this discussion with my vet a couple weeks ago, and she was agreeing. She was stating the same thing that I always state. A lot of people don't understand what it is to be a leader to the dog, so they're not giving the dog what they need in terms of leadership. Now, I'm not talking to most of you guys here, most of you guys in the comments, the ones I interact with. I know we're a very strong community here. We just hit 800,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. You guys get it. You understand leadership, what it takes, but there's a lot of people out there that just don't understand it, and they start putting human emotion into their dogs. Leadership's one of the most important things that a dog needs, and the average dog owner just doesn't understand what it takes to be a leader to our dogs. And if you guys are interested in dog behavior, dog training, how to be a leader to your dog, make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And we have a whole playlist of so many training videos that'll also help you all out. Kara and I left for vacation, and we had a dog sitter come and stay with the dogs. And I'm not shitting on my dog sitter whatsoever. She's always been great with the dogs. But this time around, up until the fight, it seemed like her leadership fell apart. And maybe it was because she's watched the dogs numerous times. So I always tell people, like, these guys don't come like this. These guys come through leadership, training, a lot of responsibility to get them like this. So maybe that just fell off her radar. She wasn't seeing signs. She wasn't being the proper leader that these dogs need. When leadership breaks down in a two-dog household, the dogs experience instability in their social structure, which leads to behavior shifts. For starters, you're gonna have competition for rank. Even if one dog has always been submissive to the other dog, now they're going to start competing. They're gonna start competing for resources, space, the list goes on and on, the things that they may compete for. Without strong leadership in the house, so when Kara and myself were removed from the area, the dogs start to establish leadership amongst themselves. They may posture more, they may start growling at each other. Essentially, they're going to be fighting for that hierarchy. Even if your dog is previously submissive, like Justice is for Bruce when I'm around, that changes once the leaders are taken out of the picture. They're trying to fill that void of leadership between the two, trying to figure it out for themselves. You never want your dogs figuring out things for themselves. You want to direct them, lead them how to act, how to behave. Next, you can have anxiety and hypervigilance. Dogs depend on structure and stability. That's where they thrive the most out of. Once that disappears, anxiety can happen. Anxiety can cause a ton of issues. It can cause aggressive issues. It can cause destructive issues. Maybe they'll be whining more, panting, pacing, things like that. Instead of looking at the leader for cues, they start looking at each other for cues, which leads to a lot of anxiety and a lot of tension between the two of them. So that leads to a breakdown in cooperation between the two dogs. No leadership, dogs stop respecting spaces, boundaries, doorways, food, possessions, things like that. Play can quickly escalate from normal play to a high tense situation. There could be a loss of obedience and focus because that structure, that strong leader isn't there. So they're not really focused on the human involved because they're not leading them properly. And then there's a shift in attachment. Sometimes two dogs may start clinging to each other more, or the complete opposite. Basically, in short, when the leadership in the household falls apart, both dogs are going to mentally revert back to survival pack mode behavior. They're going to seek structure, control, and dominance because it's missing, which just results in confusion, tension, escalating anxiety, until a clear, constant leader reemerges into the situation. So we have all these issues and changes happening between my two Cane Corsos without the dog sitter noticing the energy shift or change in their behavior. So what happened is our dog sitter was in the kitchen. And our kitchen's a very tight space. Our whole house is a tight space, especially when you add in two giant breed dogs. So she's in the kitchen and both dogs are in the kitchen. Her back was turned to them. All of a sudden, it sounded like she said Justice is the one that lashed out at Bruce, and that's when it started. The fight broke out. She was able to stop it with sound, verbally, yelling at the dogs, banging on something. But the damage is already done. It doesn't take long. It looks like Justice got bit up, and it looks like, I don't know if Bruce got bit, he may have, but the giant gash on his nose, I believe, was Justice's nails. He has some scratches on his face, which I believe are Justice's nails. Justice has like Freddy Krueger style nails. They are so sharp. I use a Dremel on them. I keep them short, but they just always grow back super sharp really quick. He's like a cat, which makes sense why he really loved those kittens that we rescued. If you missed that video, make sure you check it out. It's really cute how Justice was interacting with the kittens for the very first time. And dogs usually always give off signs of tension before things escalate to this matter. So the dogs may have been more stiff around each other, maybe when they pass each other, they start stiffening up and walking past each other slower. One dog may be staring at the other dog more. When the dog sitter's petting one, maybe one dog kept cutting in, trying to separate the two. All of these things are things to take note of. That way you can stop them before they actually end up lashing out at each other. So we had the leadership void. Myself and Carol left. The dog sitter came in, didn't really establish leadership. And now she's a resource. She's providing food, comfort, love, play. She's a very, very high reward resource. On top of it, she's female, and these are two intact males. Cane Corsos are already very possessive. Being intact, their testosterone is going to be higher. So it's not even necessarily a sexual thing, but they're going to be more possessive over her if she's not their leader. They're going to fight over her attention, her love. I don't want you by her because she's mine. And on top of it, if she was being soft with them, using a very soft tone all the time, extremely lovey-dovey, high-pitched voices, that can trigger these instincts even harder in your dogs. And then you may notice guarding behavior. One dog positioning himself between the sitter and the other dog. And it's not even guarding the dog sitter, it's guarding their resource. This is mine, stay away. I want the love, I want the attention. You can't have it because any attention or love you get is taking away from me. You're taking my resource. So that signals loss of trust in the leadership she is trying to provide or thinks she's providing. Essentially, the whole leadership structure, the pack hierarchy structure collapsed. They weren't fighting over her affection. They're fighting over who controls her, essentially. And then there's the energy mismatch. If she was using lots of high-pitched tones, lots of affection, it just fed into that insecurity and that competition even more. The calmer and more neutral someone is, the calmer and more neutral your dogs are going to be. So here are the immediate steps I had her take. I had her put a leash and collar on Justice. That way if she had to grab him again, she easily could. And I basically had her keep them apart, keep them separated as much as she possibly could. I told her she needs to take control and reclaim this leadership spot. No lovey-dovey with the dogs, no high-pitched loving voices, no coddling. A lot of commands with the dogs, directing them on what to do. Justice, you go lay down over here. Bruce, you go lay down over there. Be very neutral, very firm with it. When the dogs do something that you want them to do, then you praise them. Dogs need to be corrected when they do something wrong, and the correction should match the wrongdoing. If your dog doesn't sit when you tell them, you're not going to go over the top with the corrections. Now, if I was here and Justice attacked Bruce, I would grab Justice, put him on the floor in a submissive state, and hold him there until I felt his body completely relax, all that energy go away, and he was neutral. That way he knows that he did wrong and he can't do that again. The bigger, badder person's here and I'm in control and I'm taking control. Think about when you were a kid and you had a substitute teacher. The whole class pushes that substitute teacher to see what they can get away with. Typically, when the leader's home, the dogs aren't gonna fight because you don't mess around when the boss is around. I instructed her on being very neutral with the dogs. No petting, no loving, until the dogs earn her love. Love isn't free. You can internally love the crap out of your dog like I do, but I'm not going to physically hand out that love. It's like a treat. I'm not gonna give my dogs treats all day long for doing nothing. You can use your love, it comes in forms of verbal praise, physical touch like this, making them feel good, as a reward system, because it really helps build that communication with you and your dog. Your dog does something that you like, you reward them. And it starts building that communication over time. You have that amazing, perfect canine companion you always wanted. Next, because Justice is such high energy, he has a lot of that nervous energy, a lot of that high tension muscle energy. He's just got to run, sprint, get it out of him. I had her go outside and play fetch with Justice, but controlled fetch, where she's just not throwing the ball to him. It's in a controlled manner where she's drilling him as she's playing with him. I have a lot of videos demonstrating on how to work with a reactive dog, how to bring down that tension so they're not as reactive. I'd have her put Justice on the stay, throw the ball to Justice, then release him to go get the ball. Not just throw the ball, he runs. I'd have her throw the ball to Justice. Before he gets to it, recall him back. That way, it's not only working his high tension muscle energy, but it's also working his mentals, which is just going to tire him out so quick. I told her to make sure to correct anything that could be stiff body posture, any growls, especially anything like that. And a way to correct that, you can quickly verbally do that by just yelling at your dog like, hey, or no. It's gonna quickly snap their brain out of that state, that high tension state they're in, if you're loud enough and sharp enough with your correction. And you may say, well, what happens if I'm wrong and I just misjudged what they're doing? It's better to be wrong in situations like this than not do anything and then the dogs get in a fight. I instructed her no giving into the dogs. Sometimes dogs are very demanding. You ever have a dog where if you stop petting it, it starts demanding your attention? Do not give into any demands and actually correct the dog if they're demanding your attention, demanding being pet, things like that. Kara and myself actually just shot a video. I shot it, I had her film it. And it is the top 5 mistakes women make with large breed dogs. And it's not disparaging women by any means. But women are naturally more nurturing, more loving. So men do this too, but we just really wanted to focus on the women aspect of it. So that's why I had Kara film it. So make sure you guys subscribe because it's a great video. It should be up in a week or 2 and you're not gonna wanna miss that one. It's gonna be very helpful. And I guarantee probably 95% of people out there are doing at least one of these things with their dogs. That is a mistake that they shouldn't be doing. One perfect example, and I'll kind of give one away in this video, is putting human emotions behind the dog. Perfect example, the dog sitter texted me after she started implementing all the things I had her do, and she said she felt like a jerk acting like this to the dogs. And that's the wrong way to frame your mind because you're actually giving the dogs what they need, that strong leadership. They don't need a mommy, they don't need a daddy, they don't need a best friend, they need a strong leader. The rest comes under that and through all of that. And guess what? After she implemented all of these things, the house energy shifted and the dogs were back to normal the next day. And pack dynamics and energy can shift really quick one way or the other in a multi-dog household. So you always gotta be on top of your game. I actually have something that'll help you guys out a ton. I have the most in-depth ebook out on raising a well-balanced Cane Corso at a discounted price right now because I don't have it listed on a website. So if you want to email me at floodjlc@gmail.com, it's $50 and you can purchase a copy and have it immediately. It's very in-depth. There's no ebook or book on the planet on raising a Cane Corso that's this in-depth. And honestly, it's for every breed of dog, but because I have Cane Corsos And a lot of my content's about Cane Corsos and my large breed dogs. I just titled it The Ultimate Cane Corso Blueprint, but anybody can use it. Anybody can implement the things that I use in there, like my feedback training system. It will help you guys out so much on raising that well-behaved dog you've always wanted. Again, just email me, floodjlc@gmail.com. So when we got home, we completely ignored the dogs. Didn't even look at the dogs in the eyes. Walked past them, brought my suitcase in, brought Kara's suitcase in. She did her thing for 10 minutes or so. I started unpacking, making some food really quick. Literally ignored the dogs 100%. Once they laid down, I quickly went over on the ground, gave them a kiss, patted them really lightly in the head, and continued my day. Kara did the same. And we basically just not ignored the dogs, but kind of ignored the dogs for the rest of the day, just to say, hey, things are back to normal, guys. And things were back to normal. Like, things were normal as can be. Bruce and Justice, they're not bad dogs. Bruce and Justice love each other. But when that leadership falls apart, they are going to compete for that top spot because it's confusing. They don't have a leader to look up to, so both dogs are going to try to be that leader. And I haven't noticed any weird energy between the two since we've been home or anything like that. So of course, I'm gonna be a little bit more hyper vigilant than normal. Things seem to be back to normal. So how do you stop a dog fight? I know a lot of these internet things don't work. You don't want to stick your fingers up a dog's butt like I've seen people try. Like all this weird stuff. First and foremost, try to verbally do it. If you can, hey, bang on something, break that attention, break that focus, especially if you're the dog's leader, hopefully they're listening to you, it could shut it down. And if not, you're going to want to, if your dogs have a leash or collar on, the one that's in control, don't pull them away from the other dog. Pick them up. The more you pull them away, the harder they're gonna bite onto that. If you still can't get them apart, you can rear naked choke your dog essentially. I know it sounds harsh, but it's better to choke out your dog versus have your dogs kill each other or cause extreme damage. There's demonstrations on YouTube from some high-level dog trainers that will show you how to choke out a dog without hurting them. Also, you could have some pepper spray in hand. Much better to cause some physical pain that's not gonna cause any long-term damage on your dog to break up a dog fight versus them rip each other apart. You know, we have bear spray here actually, just in case that ever happened. If the dogs got in a fight and weren't stopping, I can just grab the bear spray and they will quickly stop because it's gonna be very physically painful, but not cause any long-term damage. Now, that would be a last resort. Hope I never have to resort to that, but I don't think I'm gonna because leadership here is strong. I know a lot of you guys out there are strong leaders. Thanks for watching. Share this with anybody that you feel like it can help. And until next time, Bruce Wayne, Joey Justice, and myself, see you later. Peace.